Data engineers, data engineer back here answering yet another question. So Geoffrey asked why CSV is better than JSON, pointing to the context of my sort of like better things for the data engineering. Wait, actually the first was per K better than the CSV better than JSON. Now he is absolutely right what he's telling there, what he's saying here. JSON can definitely be different, but no. So just hear me out. First of all, JSON file format is actually great, right? Like you can actually have schema evolution controlled much better. You know what every field represents. It's much easier to parse in the case that, you know, like it's a standardized approach. So we know how to parse the JSON files and how to sort of deal with them. But then if you look at the CSV file, you know, like CSV file, like someone can add a column and then suddenly, or add a column in the middle of your file and then suddenly everything breaks, right? So the CSV kind of like it's a loser. But then like, why did they put the CSV prior to the JSON? So multiple years ago, I wrote this blog post, and what I was looking into the file size for the same data set. So I generated like a random data set of how much, 1,000,000 rows, right? And then I sort of like said, okay, like how much data it will take, sort of how much space it will take. So if you look at the format, CSV takes like 106 megabytes and a JSON takes 222 megabytes. And this is expected because JSON do have a schema for each row and sort of like repeats that schema as it goes, right? So CSV is much better for storing the data, for, you know, like for storing the data. This is why it's much better. However, Parquet is always much better in my opinion, because it also brings you the analytical approach to the data, because it stores some analytical information internally, and then you can rely on that for pulling the information. Now, another thing which, you know, like it's worth mentioning, if you were looking at the CSV versus JSON, and we're looking into sort of like a compressed version of that, the storage of the CSV is not really that far away compared to the JSON. But of course, now you have the compression to deal with. So JSON CSVs depends on the use case. If you just sort of like want to move files around, I guess it's easier to read. Yeah, should I change my mind? Still, I mean, Parquet is better, right? So let's give with that. So I hope this answers the question. If it didn't, please reach out, and and if anyone has any more questions, just ask.